Hi, I'm Nia Shanks of Lift Like a Girl, and I'm going to show you how to perform a barbell deadlift. Now, one of the most important things, if you're just starting out with this movement, is making sure that the bar is at the traditional height. So if you have bumper plates, that won't be an issue because bumper plates, they're all the same diameter regardless of the weight. But if you don't have bumper plates, a traditional iron plate is going to, a 10-pound plate will be significantly smaller. So you'll need to elevate the bar to where it'll be this traditional height, which is approximately 8.5 inches from the floor to the bottom of the bar. So you may have to elevate, if you're having to use like 25 pounds on each side instead of 45 pounds, which gives you that traditional diameter with the iron plates. You'll need to elevate the plates a little bit on each side, either with something like an aerobic step or some wood blocks, yoga mats. You can even put a barbell in a power rack if the holes go low enough, so you can have the bar resting on the safety bars. But as is the case with my power rack, the holes don't go low enough to where the bar would be way too high. So just try to get the bar at that standard height, which is again about approximately 8.5 inches from the floor to the bottom of the bar. And once you do that, you're ready to start performing the deadlift. The first thing you want to establish is your stance. And kind of a rule of thumb I heard many years ago from coaches, and I found really useful, is act like you're about getting ready to do a vertical jump, that you're just going to jump as high as you can into the air. Just kind of without thinking about just getting that stance. Roughly where your feet are when you do that is about where you will set them when you're doing the deadlift. So for me, it's pretty much about, my feet are pretty much directly under my hips. A mistake people make is getting too wide, like they get their feet set like they're about to do a squat. That's not what you want with the deadlift. So generally about hip width is a good place to start. And I like to have my toes pointed straight ahead. It's what feels most comfortable for me. Some people prefer to point their toes out just a little bit. They find that's more comfortable, especially someone who's a bit larger. They may find it hard to get their torso into position if their knees are in front of them like that. So you can play with your toes a bit. I prefer, again, to keep them straight ahead. It's most comfortable for me. Some people like to turn their toes out about 10 degrees or so. Again, you can play with that and see what feels best. The next thing you want to do is get set up with the bar. And this is where things can start to go wrong from the very beginning. Some people get way too far away from the bar. Like looking down, they'll have the bar over the balls of their feet. The bar is way too far forward at that point. Some people get right up against it where it's touching their shins from this point, and that's too far back. Kind of a good rule of thumb, you want the bar about over the arch of your midfoot, maybe back just a little bit, because you'll see when I get into position why that's so important. And what you want to keep in mind when you're doing a deadlift, the barbell is going to travel in a vertical line over the midfoot the whole time. All the way up it's going to be in that vertical bar path, and on the way down it's going to be in that vertical bar path. So that's why from the setup you want to go ahead and get the bar established over your midfoot for the most part. So what I'm doing, I've got my feet in position, my feet are about underneath my hips, and I have the bar lined up approximately over the middle of my foot. So from this point, I'm going to go down and grab the bar with the narrowest grip I can have. And you just want to make sure your hands aren't so close that they end up rubbing up against your thighs when you're performing this movement, because that would create more friction that you have to overcome. So from this point, feet about hip width apart, or wherever feels most comfortable for you. Bar over the midfoot. Grab the bar with the closest grip that you can handle. And then the important thing from here to note is that as I get into position, my shins are coming forward to meet the bar. And then from this point, you need to get everything set nice and tight to perform the movement correctly. And so what I like to tell people to do is push your chest out, and you'll notice how that gets my back flat and tight. And this is the pulling position. You'll notice that my shoulders are just a little bit in front of the bar. The bar is pretty much underneath my scapula. My back is nice and tight, and my shoulders are a little higher than my hips. This is the start position. This is important. A common mistake people make is just being relaxed and bent over like that. So again, the really important thing is getting your back set and getting it locked nice and tight. You want to get your back in a nice neutral, locked, rigid position, and you want it to stay that way throughout the entire lift. So we'll get back down into our stance. Grab the bar, closest grip you can. Get into position, your shins will meet the bar. Your shoulders will be just a little in front of the bar. And your arms are going to be straight, nice and locked. Don't have them bent and then try to just pull the bar off the ground. That's a good way to get hurt. So my arms are nice and straight. From this point, I'm going to push my chest out a little to set my back, to get my back nice and tight and nice and rigid. And then I'm going to kind of think of squeezing the bar off the floor. You don't want to jerk the bar off the floor. You want to break it from the ground nice and smooth. And then what I'm going to do is pull the bar straight up, and it's going to pretty much drag against my body the entire way, so it travels in that vertical bar path. Chest out, back is tight, pull up, and then stand up. Stop the movement when you are straight up. Do not hyperextend and lean back. And from here, you reverse the motion by sticking your butt back. Bar travels down, set it back down. That's one rep. I'll show that to you again. Starting from here, chest out, getting my back tight, getting it locked into place. I'm going to keep it there the entire time. Shoulders are a little in front of the bar. My shins are touching the bar. Break the bar smoothly off the ground, drag the bar up the shins, stand up straight. And then reverse the motion to lower it back down. So, that is how you perform a deadlift. The important things is getting set up correctly. You want to make sure that the bar travels in that vertical path the whole way over the midfoot on the way up and on the way down. And you also want to make sure that you get your back set tight and rigid, and you keep it in that position the entire time. And you want to complete the lift when you're standing up completely straight. Do not lean back and hyperextend your back. Just when you get to the point where you're straight, and then you simply reverse the motion and take it down. So, that is how you perform a barbell deadlift. Just get your feet set with a comfortable width. Toes can be straight ahead or out slightly. And then just make sure that the bar stays close to your body the entire way up, the entire way down. And have fun getting strong.